Hello, McFluffy52 here, back with some more Brothers War action, and today we're playing a deck that I call Painful Vindicator because we're built around Phyrexian Vindicator, which when it takes damage, it would when it would take damage, it prevents that damage, and then you can send that damage to any target, any other target. I guess you can't ping your own Vindicator, right? But we're trying to play a Vindicator and then play a bunch of these damage sweepers in red, such as Brotherhood's End. Burn down the house that does 5 damage, Brotherhood's End does 3, and then we have 2 damage here with Elder Dragon War. We also have one other kind of damage sweeper here with Corpse Explosion, which explains this card up here, Rust Goliath. The Corpse Explosion says, as additional cost to cast this spell, exile a creature card from your graveyard. Corpse Explosion deals damage equal to the exiled card's power to each creature and each planeswalker. This means if we ever discard a Phyrexian Vindicator in our graveyard and we don't want to reanimate it, we could potentially use Corpse Explosion on that in a pinch. But the real hope here is to exile Rust Goliath, deal 10 damage to everything, and then fling 10 damage at our opponent's face with Phyrexian Vindicator. We also have Solphim, Mayhem Dominus here to go ahead and double up the damage that we send out. Our non-combat damage. So this will double up the sweeper damage on our opponent's side of the board, but not ours. And then when Vindicator sends out that damage, it will double it up. This makes Rust Goliath plus Corpse Explosion potentially a one-shot kill with Phyrexian Vindicator. So hopefully we'll get that off. We only have one copy of each in our deck, just because it's kind of a jank combo. And then the rest of this deck is we got a little draw discard, we got some removal of various types, a little bit of healing with Sunset Revelry, a little life gain. And yeah. Our land base is pretty ambitious because we're playing Vindicator because it's 4 white, but there'll be a full deck at the end of the video if you're interested in that. And if you enjoy not Phyrexia, Magic Arena videos, consider subscribing because I try and make daily videos. I try and make interesting and unique decks each day. So let's go ahead and see how we do. We need to hit another land for Fable here for this hand to be decent. We don't have any of a removal or like low end. I guess we do have a pretty aggressive curve in this deck. Okay, this is a bit better. Oh, okay, maybe it's not a bit better because we don't have mana to cast our braids. Whatever, let's give this a try. This seems a little bit better if we draw into red than our last hand. So let's count our lucky stars and hopefully we draw into red. But yeah, I tried to record a video on this deck yesterday. I don't know why the game's stuttering. But yeah, I tried to record a video on this deck yesterday. But the video turned out longer than I was hoping, and so I'm going to try and make this a bit more of a concise video. It was like an hour and 15 minutes, and I was like, no. I also felt like the game dragged, or like the games dragged on a little bit longer than they needed to. Alright, so Skrell is tapped out here, so we can go ahead and abrade. I don't know why the visuals are lagging. Sometimes my game does this when I've like just booted it up, sort of. The opponent has the Black Lotus plant, or pet, which is interesting. Doesn't do anything when you click on it. Kind of disappointing. We're pretty committed to our, well, we get Vindicator down here, which is not the best, but not the worst against our opponent. Does prevent, does allow us to do some blocking and redirecting of damage, though I hope they don't have any, like, ossifications here, which they could, because they're playing basics. Ossification, 2-mana enchantment, enchant basic land, exile target creature or planeswalker. Or I guess it's opponent's creature or planeswalker, I think. I don't think you can hit your own creatures. I might be wrong. We went ahead and got rid of the Jawbone Duelist with our Braid here as a... We do need to hit a sweeper here because sweepers are better into Rot Priest than this, like a Braid. Braid means that we would... They can make their thing, their Rot Priest unblockable to white. Though this Homestead Courage is proving to be practically lethal. Don't do it. Don't pay the life. It's not worth it. Dang it. We're going to take 8 poison, so we really need to top deck a sweeper here. Can't block it because they gave it unblockable with white, and that's going to do it. That will do it. Well, we have a red blocker here, but if they attack in with everything, well, they need a target spell, so let's not give up hope quite yet. We're going to pay 1 light. No, okay. I forgot this is one of those special ones. End turn. Please no target spells. If they have a target spell, we are dead. Okay. Show us it. Okay. Don't good game and then wait like half a minute to find your Homestead Courage in your hand. Come on now. Yeah, I will say this deck is kind of jank. I meant to say this at the beginning, but this deck is kind of jank because we are relying on like one creature. So I wouldn't say necessarily recommend playing this deck in ranked. But I think it has like some fun goals to try and achieve. Also, I'll try and stop fiddling with my water bottle so it doesn't make noises as I snap the I don't know what you'd call this, the handle up and down. Ryu or Row. Yeah, I guess that would be Row, opponent's name. We get to go first. Okay, play Windscarred Crag because it has red, and we need some double reds here. Rust Goliath to discard. Cult Conscript, so mono black aggro. I'm not a fan of that, but this will gain us life and create dudes. It says if your opponent has more life than you, you gain 4 life. If they control more creatures, create 2 1/1s, and if they have more cards in hand, you draw a card. Oh, we gained 2 life. That's why I was like, what? We're at 20 life, but they hit in. How's that? Opponent presumably has something here. Or 2 black. Maybe they're just holding up removal and they just didn't have anything for. They didn't have any tenacious underdogs or. What is another 2-cost creature in black? I can only think of tenacious underdog. I don't know why. They have other creatures on 2, I think. I think. Opponent here. Yeah, I'm just gonna end the turn, opponent. This deck is a bit of a control deck. I'm not great at playing control decks, so I will say that might be part of why this is a bit rough for us. Oh, the Graveyard Trespasser is not big enough for us to. Okay, let's go ahead and play this. Gain some life. I didn't draw us a card because they have the same amount of cards in our hand, or in their hand. Flesh Gorger? Children? Children would be pretty brutal. Cut down, we don't mind that. You can block the Cult Conscript with this. Or we don't block the Cult Conscript. Another red source is what we really need here. Well, if they make us discard, we can discard the Rust Goliath. Problem though is they're gonna exile our Rust Goliath with this Trespasser, so we need. Yeah, we can't really play anything here. The ambitious land base is coming back to bite us. Each player discards a card. In that case, we'll go ahead and discard Brotherhood's End. I think. I think that's what we'll go ahead and do. We can Corpse Explosion our Rust Goliath here, which would be interesting. We might need to. I'm going to discard a Burn Down the House just because we don't have the mana for it at the moment, so it's less relevant. The plan here is after they do this, resolve. I go ahead. Right. Actually, let's wait until the. No. Yeah. Just in case they play another Graveyard Trespasser in their second half of their turn, we're going to go ahead and take this damage. And then we'll... This has ward discarded cards. We're using that to discard a Rust Goliath. Or I'm just going to completely whiff the own thing that I was talking about. And basically punt the game. Oh, that's painful. Alright, well, Brotherhood's End will clean up some of the board here. We're still taking a bunch of damage next turn. Yeah, let's go ahead and do this. Oh, we're gonna lose a life for this as well? That's rough. Man, I don't know why, like, I thought that there was another phase there, or that I was gonna be able to, like... I thought it would stop at their end step again. Probably should have read the button and see that it said my turn. As an oopsie on my part. 2 damage, or 1 damage rather. Or are they not going to go for the exile? Maybe a Cult Conscript that you could do. Nope, they're just going to exile our graveyard. Funny. Alright, we'll go ahead and play this. It doesn't draw us a card still, because everyone has less cards in hand. But at least gains us a respectable amount of life. And gives us 2 blockers. They're going to be able to get their Cult Conscript out of the graveyard. Invoke Despair, that is basically as bad as it gets. We've had a horrible draw this game. I feel like... I don't know. I'm surprised how unfortunate our draw has been. Can I do this instead? Do this. Guard the Rust Goliath. Yeah, let's do this. Oh no. Alright, we're not dead to Invoke Despair, but we're not doing hot. Oh, that got rid of our creature. Whoops. Maybe we should have just held up Go for the Throat here if they had a Shieldred. I'm not playing that well today. My apologies. Still nighttime, so if they play down a Graveyard Trespasser, they return Liliana.
No more distractions. Let's make this quick.
I mean, I can discard either Go for the Throat or Burn Down the House. I think we discard Go for the Throat. Burn Down the House. We want to get rid of the Haunted Ridge. Alright, well, this was a bit troll, but go ahead, get rid of their Sweeper for 10, not bad. Is that a bug? Yeah, that seemed a little bugged. Visual bug. Oh my god. Alright, this has been a good game. Invoke Despair kills us here. Yeah, I will do it. Not particularly a good roll. We did not find any, we found like our 2 most expensive sweeper, or like one of our most expensive sweepers. Or 2 of them, yeah, we had like 2 to burn down the houses. 0 Vindicators, 0 like, the Cruelty of Gixes. And then just like, I have like a ton of removal spells in this deck, but don't seem to be drawing many of them. Okay, this hand is... We'll just keep it. We will just keep it. We don't draw any to lands, we will die, but looks like we'll be going first, yeah, because of the orange. Man, that's a cool trick. Depending on what color like the arrows are down here, you can figure out whether or not you're going first or not if you weren't paying attention in the other screen. Admittedly, this is probably not the best hand to keep if you're going first. Alright, we get a goblin. Nice. That's a bit better of a curve. You're gonna gain 2 life, yep. Look in our Fable. I don't know what they're looking at our Fable for, but perhaps they haven't played it a bit and don't know what Fable does. I have a hard time believing that, but possible. Do want to get rid of Corpse Explosion here. Let's go ahead and discard these two and see what we draw into. Alright, Solphim we can play down this turn. And then if we top deck a land, we can go ahead and play a Vindicator. Our opponent looks like they're going to murder the Solphim. Not murder, but go for the throat the Solphim. Maybe. Shieldred. Shieldred's another option. Common spot on, or common creature on 4 for black. Nope, that does not have haste, so you can't cast your Invoke Despair yet. I know you're itching to. Alright, just control your urges. Graveyard Trespasser. I guess they're gonna just exile our in here. Alright, we can Brotherhood's End. It will sweeper their side of the board and keep our side of the board, which is cool. They want to crew their Bankbuster to swing in. We'll go ahead and take it, I think. You have your 4 damage. Alright. Now this will kill our poor soul from here. I just want to keep them out of Invoke Despair range. Not a big fan of Invoke Despair. Nope, they got the mana, so here it comes. Nope. Okay, that's shocking. Yep, you're gonna take a Graveyard Trespasser. We don't have any creatures in our graveyard because there's like 6 creatures in our deck. Because we're a little special. Yeah, crew your Bankbuster. This is why mono black's gross. Bankbuster just so like disgustingly broken in mono black. Every creature they have is like a 3 power creature, so they just keep crewing and crewing and crewing. Oh, we get to sweeper their creature here actually. This is fun, watch this. It does 4 damage to them and their creature. We'll go ahead and swing in. Solphim and these sweepers is really fun. Solphim plus like Brotherhood's End and Solphim plus these Elder Dragon Wars is pretty darn strong. We have another Solphim in hand, so we're not too upset about that. Do we want to play Sunset Revelry first? Let's go ahead and rip out a Vindicator. This acts as a pretty good blocker too if they have another crew for their Bankbuster. Probably just a kill spell though. We have another one in hand, and we have ways to reanimate our Vindicator. We have 3 cards in our deck that reanimates creatures. Black Sun's Twilight, and 2 the Cruelty of Gixes. Could we draw into them? Who knows? They go for the draw, so we're really happy to see that. There's their 7th Graveyard Trespasser. 1, 2, 3. You know, fair enough. I hate the Graveyard Trespasser. Though to be honest, I hate mono black in general. It's kinda gross. Mono black kinda gross. What do we want to do? Some creatures, some life. Or some life and a card. I guess we could burn this with the Abrade. We could also destroy their Bankbuster. That sounds like a good idea. We'll do this. Now we're down a card and we'll actually draw a card with our Sunset Revelry since we played that one first. There we go. Go ahead. Do we want to put the pressure on? I'm more concerned about Invoke Despairs, or what am I saying? If I'm concerned about Invoke Despairs, I should have swung in. Ah, two of those, three Graveyard Trespassers, sure. This part where we just die. It's a mono black having more value, more card draw, more damage. It is gross. Alright, three Invoke Despairs. Do you have them? I mean, at this point, they kill us with a Corrupt. Nobody plays Corrupt, but Corrupt is a sorcery that deals damage equal to the number of swamps you have to any target and gains you that much life as well. It's for 6 mana, so they could play it. I think it's 6 mana, or is it 5 mana? Maybe it's 5. I think it's 5. 4 and a black. I got Elder Dragon War, so we can bounce 2 damage off of our Vindicator that way. If we get this Solphim down, we can bounce out 4 damage, and we can also sweeper their Graveyard Trespasser is the thing. Opponent here looking for how they can kill us. Well, they just kill the Phyrexian Vindicator, and that'll do that. They give it -2/-2. They don't. They could have given the Phyrexian Vindicator -2/-2 and then swung in. That's weird. Go played Solphim here. Our options aren't very good either way, so let's go ahead and play Solphim. This gives us an air blocker and a ground blocker, which is good. We're not going to go ahead and swing in because, well, if we swing in, we die because they just don't block. I don't know. Did the game just make a weird sound as they remove that counter? Felt like it. Oh, it's -1/-1. My bad. +2/+2 for your creature, or -1/-1 for opponent's creature. Okay, you know what, Solphim? You're gonna die. I'm afraid to tell you. I mean, one of these creatures is probably gonna die to like their umpteenth removal spell, or they just have another invoke. But I don't know why they wouldn't just ripped it out right now and just swung in. No, sometimes you get a little wrapped up in your hand and you're not paying close attention to your opponent, but I feel like at this point they should be. Looking at the Vindicator, wishing, cursing that they had that removal spell. Fair enough. Really would love this Solphim to survive. Actually, we can have the Solphim survive, but we pay 2 life to do so. Oh no, that puts a little bit of a kink in the works. Okay, we can discard these 2 cards, take 2 life and discard 2 cards, and make our Solphim indestructible. I mean, they can give their Graveyard Trespasser +2/+2 so it doesn't trade, and then they're guaranteed a win next turn, but I guess they don't feel like that. No creatures, I'm pretty sure. Well, we do actually have a creature, so we're going to actually lose it. Pass the blockers, do this. Do this. 2 blockers. Do we have a chance to do this? Okay, we're gonna go ahead and do this. What? I'm confused. Done. Cancel. No good game. And 6 to their face. Oh, 12 to their face, my bad. And then swing in with both? No, we can't swing in with both. Well, we can swing in with this and then keep 1 up to block. That's assuming they don't have another sack or removal spell, but if they had a sack or removal spell, they would have probably already went for it. So let's go ahead. Do this. 1-1, you know, that was pretty epic though. Setting 12 damage back off the Archfiend hit. Sheesh, I forgot that it doubled it. Because we have Solphim. I don't know why I forgot, but I forgot. They just give Phyrexian Obliterated Trample here. They like give it +2/+2. And we die. I forgot about that. I should have kept the Vindicator back. Opponent's gonna think way too long. They have the win here. If they click their attack button, they win, is the thing, so. Ah, man, I misplayed that. We should have swung in. If I didn't swing in there, we actually had a chance. Well, we would have won. We would have actually won. If I didn't swing in there, we would have won, is the actual bottom line of that. Damn, I punted that. Well, I think it was still a fun game, so I hope you guys enjoyed that one. Oops, I fiddled with my water bottle. So I made a click sound. Trying to avoid that because I realized that it does sound a bit annoying in the audio. I don't know if it actually bothers you guys that much, but we got double sunset revelry, so let's go for this. Should give us a chance again. Ooh, is this control? That'd be interesting. Yeah, we just play this. Yeah, admittedly, we should probably play out this Battlefield Forge so we get to 4 white pips as soon as possible, just in case we draw into something. We got this Abrade on lock, ready to bolt down whenever they play. Like a Bankbuster. And then we have the Fable to follow it up. Our opponent's probably pretty upset to see such a sweet curve. We finally drew into our like low cost cards, so this is good. This is good. So this isn't necessarily a great matchup per se in the sense that yeah, they got a lot of removal. A lot of removal makes it kind of hard for the Vindicator to stick around sometimes. Let's get rid of a Sunset Revelry maybe. See what we get. Burn down the house, that's pretty good because they're gonna probably be playing a fair number of Planeswalkers here. And Burn down the house and Brotherhood's End also hit Planeswalkers, so they're really good. They're like some of the best cards for dealing with these kind of control matchups is the funny thing. But it is kind of annoying that they can get rid of our Vindicators pretty easily. Opponent, are you are you playing a Mind Slicer deck? Jace, okay. Take it down. Yeah, dude it. We will take that. You wanna know something cool? Oh man, it pains me to do that. Actually, we can just burn down the house for the 3 devils. The devils are hard to remove. Let's do this. Unless they have exile removal for like 1, this is probably our best bet, funny enough. Well, our most economy play. We get to keep our Kiki Jiki and everything. Sacrifice it to be next end step. Okay, well, it doesn't really matter because I want to sweep the board. Opponent, are you Esper Mill? Esper Control Mill. We did a mill deck the other day. It was a lot of fun. But we did like turbo mill, so we weren't hoping to keep our opponents around endlessly. We were just trying to mill them as fast as possible. Nothing really gives us anything. Like this does nothing, so. Yep, they get to pick their best card out of their top 3, which is not great for us, but we can start shaping their hand to see our matchup. Granted, they probably don't have a very good idea of what we're playing at the moment. And apparently we don't either because we don't have enough white sources. I do have like 2 basics in this deck. You could probably just go ahead and remove them and swap them out for even more of these. Let's see what our opponent plays before we abrade. Let's assume... No, they're not going to do it. Okay, well, I don't really want to get a poison counter because then they can start proliferating it. So, that's going to go. But admittedly, I should have used the destroy artifact part of the braid instead of the 3 damage, because if they had some protection spell, that would have been a problem. Are you gonna take it up? Nope, they take it down. Honestly, I'm kind of glad you milled these cards because we kind of need another white source. Yeah, there you go. Let's go ahead, blow up their Jace. I mean, you could play out a Vindicator here, but it's probably just gonna die. We want to get Jace going as fast as possible. Though they might have some devious cover-ups to shovel Jace back in. Though, does devious cover-up allow you to shuffle in any card? I'm not entirely sure. This will draw us a card if we play it. But it doesn't do anything else. So maybe we wait. I'll just wait. Wait until this is gonna get us like 2 things perhaps. One is nothing. Alright, go ahead and play out one of these bad boys. We could return a Solphim here with our Cruelty of Gix next turn. But we might start with the first part because it's gonna allow us to discard, make them discard a Planeswalker. I realized they clicked away from that a little bit fast. Memory Deluge. Deluge. Deluga. Prologue to Phyresis. I don't know actually how to pronounce this. Somebody commented with like the pronunciation guide, but it still didn't look very. Admittedly, it still didn't feel super great. Do you have a Wandering Emperor? Come on. Now, opponent. Let's check your hand. No Emperors are going to be taking away our Vindicators here. Unless you counter this. Okay, we actually get to do it. Epic. The nice thing with this deck is we also have, Yep, I saw it. Though they could also just Void Rend it. We don't have anything to give it indestructible, unfortunately. How did they give us a poison counter? Oh, prologue to Phyresis. That was what it was. Damage, they're not going to actually kill it. That seems strange. This will draw us a card. Let's go ahead and just do that here. I'm kind of getting worried. And we need to draw into as much action with this Vindicator on the board to hopefully kill our opponent. If we hit a burn down the house, that would be great. Yeah. They're most afraid of Cruelty of Gix. Surprising. Well, don't tell them what we just drew. But yeah, this card is pretty nice in this deck because it can help us find like the specific pieces that we're looking for. Opponent's probably just going to depopulate here, which is unfortunate. Do you have a counterspell, opponent? As much as I would love to discover what they're like a removal spell. Sorry, I targeted removal. Don't tell me you top decked into an Emperor. What? What are you doing? Alright, so if this resolves, they can tax us for 2 because we know they have a counterspell. We don't have 3 poison yet. This can also allow us to hold up a Go for the Throat for this. Oh wait, we can't hold up a Go for the Throat. So maybe we play Vindicator, but if we play out Vindicator, that plays into their Sweeper. So if we play out a Vindicator and they Sweeper, then we get value out of our 3rd chapter, Cruelty of Gix. Let's go ahead and do that. I think this is the best option. Because we need to stay off of 3 poison because they're counterspell in their hand. I'm not gonna hover it. Just because I don't want them thinking about it. They can create a second one. Okay, well, forgot about that. I forgot about that part. Man, I bloody hate control. I bloody hate control. Interesting that they have Void Rend. It's not a bad card. They're gonna attack in before they sweeper, and then they can play Jace as well. This is just hovering because we can destroy our own Vindicators, I think. Cast the damage. Balance 1 damage to their face. Pretty close to killing them here if we draw it. If we draw into a sweeper here and they don't, yeah. Destroy evil, go for throat, not gonna do anything here. And they played Jace. No, they don't play Jace. In that case, we're gonna try and make you discard Jace, but you can just reanimate, or you can hard counter it, because that stupid counter spell right there. If they have 3 or more poison counters, counter the spell instead. Oi. There's nothing we can play here. If we don't play anything, we're gonna wait until next turn before we try and make a move. See if another card gives us something that we can double spell next turn. Though we lose out to these Murex tokens, but at this point we already have 3 counters, so it's not that much of a dramatic change. They can probably just do nothing each turn because I'm control and all I have to do is be reactive.
I will clear your mind.
That Vindicator, that's a good counterspell target, but that doesn't really help us. Because 4 mana leaves us with 4 mana open. Oh well, do they draw like 3 cards? No, okay, they haven't drawn 3 cards yet, so this is our best opportunity to try and resolve something like this. And I hate control, because they also turn into these like 20 or 15 minute slugfests that are just so not interesting to watch, in my opinion. It's like, okay, your control point just does this. Do we want in our graveyard? Let's just, maybe we could just go for the throat it. I don't think they're gonna play any. Let's go do this. Don't exile our creature. I like it in my graveyard. I think we already had 2 in our graveyard. This is a bit troll, but they're not going to be playing any big creatures. They just play Planeswalker, Sweeper, Counterspell, targeted removal. Like, Sweeper, card draw, Sweeper, card draw, 1 targeted removal, card draw, Planeswalker. Like, the deck in a nutshell. Our opponent finds another counterspell, so we don't get to do anything here, and they have like 2 permanents on the board, known as a land and Jace, and they win. Alright. Well, this might fish out a counterspell, at least. If you have another one, I'm in this game. But I mean, they've only played 0 of them, so. Alright. We'll call that game there. Man, can we win a game in this video? Okay, I'll play 1 more. I swear this deck is not as bad. We've just gotten kind of unlucky. Yeah, there is a jank disclaimer, but holy moly, I don't think we're this bad. I don't think we're this bad. I mean, I did punt a little bit here and there. We would have won that last game. Not like that last game, but the game prior to that last game, if you know what I mean. If I didn't, if I didn't attack in with the Vindicator there, because we could have, if they attacked in and we blocked, we would have killed them. Mono red, so this will be a very interesting matchup. We don't have any sweepers, but we have Sunset Revelry, which you can cast, and we do have some target removal. Our opponent, Ancestral Anger, though, that is spooky. We have more creatures, more life, less cards. So we do get some action out of that. Bankbuster, I mean Fable, we might even get rid of this Bankbuster, honestly. Because we really need to find some gas. Get rid of this. They might have a burn spell, but double blocking here just fishes the burn spell out at least. Hey, that's 2 damage not going to our face. The etching does survive here, but the price we will take, or the price we will pay. Keep drawing into this basic. There's literally two basics, one swamp, one mountain, and then an Iganjo. I think you're supposed to wait until after I block opponent, but it doesn't really make a difference. Alright, we need to... it feels bad getting rid of Solphim here. This isn't going to do much either. Okay, that's something. Hey, one life, that's fine. Because we get rid of the board, very nice. Though they do get this Kamano and Exile here, which they can ping us for one and then pump up their next creature next turn, which is that card. I can't wait until this thing rotates. Life gain land, that is pretty hype. Do we want to hold up Go for the Throat here? Or do we want Bank Buster down? I think we'll hold up Go for the Throat. We also need to prevent them from getting a critical mass or return this Phoenix chick. This is a decent matchup, especially if we can resolve this Vindicator. I will hold up with this Abrade and this Go for the Throat. If not, we can just draw a card. But we will get this Kamano flipping. And we haven't even really hit that much removal. Opponent should be thankful. Use Abrade here. Even if they have the Blazing Crescendo, it only gives +1 toughness. Festival Crusher, that will do. I need land. That will do. We have Go for the Throat next turn. And then we can play Vindicator and they're not going to have any answer to Vindicator and we'll just win from there. Most likely win from there, mind you. Yeah, Go for the Throat does not care about the toughness of that creature. Another Festival Crusher. Good luck. Yeah. All right. Well, we got a dub. All right, we're gonna call it there. A dub against mono red. You can see how this deck does work if we have those early game removal spells in our hand earlier. I think to that note, perhaps what you want to do with this deck. I'm not the best at building decks. I will openly admit this. And I do implore you guys, if you have any suggestions, I'd love to hear them on any of my videos. If you have any suggestions, I'd love to hear your guys' thought. How would you change the deck? How would you build the deck? You can see, jumping into the deck check, you can see that we have like a bunch of removal here. We have 3 Go for the Throats, 2 Abrades, 2 Destroy Evils. We got one Black Sun's Twilight, which can give -X, -X, and it's X and a black. Then we have 4 Brotherhoods and 3 Burn Down the Houses, 4 Elder Dragon Wars, 2 Solphims, Corpse Explosion, the Rust Golem. So those are like our removal spells. Perhaps you want to go down like a Burn Down the House here, or maybe down an Elder Dragon War, and then play like full play set of Go for the Throat, another Abrade here, and maybe like something else. But this is how I ended up playing the deck. We did not really win many, but I hope you guys enjoyed the game regardless, because I think they were still fun and entertaining. Another one of those that we should have won there against that Phyrexian Vindicator. I swung in with one of the ones, and I forgot that Obliterate has Trample, and our Solphim only has 4 toughness. So you would have been able to trample over and deal the 1 extra damage. So I should have thought about that a bit longer. Maybe I got a bit distracted with the opponent saying good game, and I was like, I just want to end this game as soon as possible. So I tried to swing in, which was not the move. Anyways, going into the cards one by one, we already talked about Black Sun's Twilight. It's X and a black, and then target creature gets X or -X, -X. If X is 5 or more, though, we get to return a creature card from our graveyard with mana value 5 or X or less from our graveyard to the battlefield tap. So this helps us deal with those creatures that we don't want to burn down the house, we don't want to hit with Brotherhood's End, we don't want to hit with a Braid, because these cards all deal damage. And for instance, the Obliterator is a very good example. We ran against that Obliterator. That's why we're running these Go for the Throats, these Destroy Evils, and this Black Sun's Twilight, on top of uh, being able to deal with those creatures that don't want damage dealt to them, or like indestructible. This hits indestructible creatures. This also has the opportunity to reanimate a Vindicator if our opponent gets rid of it, which is very nice and important. Because I've actually, the video that I recorded for this deck previously, that I ended up scrapping because it was just too long, and then like we had a game against like mono white and mono white enchantments that just dragged on, and we didn't really stand much of a chance of winning, especially because we didn't have any enchantment removal. That's why there's two Destroy Evils here now. But what was it? Where was I going with this? I have literally no idea where I was going with this. Um, yeah, I completely forget. Anyways, this helps us reanimate our creatures and deal with those like indestructible and obliterator type threats that like, so if somebody plays the Vindicator, what we can do is we can use Black Sun's Twilight or Go for the Throats, Destroy Evils. Destroy Evil, 2 mana, 1 white, 1 generic. We can choose to destroy target creature with toughness 4 or greater, or we could also destroy target enchantment. It's very nice because, well, sometimes there's enchantments that we need to get rid of. There's certainly in the video that I was describing, or like the games that I was describing. So a little bit of enchantment here, enchantment removal here. Can also hit those shield druids and those obliterators because they have 4 toughness or greater. Sunset Revelry. We saw this card put in a decent amount of work here. Sometimes it was just like draw a card for 2, which is not the best. But like against that mono red matchup, we saw how valuable it was. It bought us a turn, made opponent use a burn spell on one of these tokens. So I think this is really good in depending on the particular meta that you're facing. But I think so much of the meta is aggro that Sunset Revelry seems like a decent card to include at least 2 copies of. Go for the Throat. We're playing 3 of these. Just destroy target non-artifact creature. Most creatures are non-artifact creatures, so we don't need to go for the Infernal Grasp. And then we also have a bunch of other removal here. So yeah, this card's pretty nice. And this, yeah, again, it helps us deal with those non-creature, like non-damage based creatures that we want to get rid of. If you understand what I'm trying to say. A Braid helps us destroy target or deal 3 damage to target creature or destroy target artifact. This we used against the Bank Buster, which was really nice. It would be nice to go up another one of these. So yeah, I would definitely say if you want to improve this deck, trim an Elder Dragon War and a Burn Down the House, go up and Go for the Throat and a Braid. Easy way to make the deck better, because apparently our mana curve is pretty up there. Yeah, 3.4. So a bit bad on my part here for the current deck, but how much would that actually lower the curve? I do wonder. 3.3, so not much of a change in the curve, supposedly, but you'll definitely hit these a few more times than you'll hit these, which is what you want to be doing. And then Bankbuster, this is just here to help us draw cards, because if we're going to be sweeping the board, trying to stall out those aggro matches until you can play out the Vindicator, because it is a 4-cost creature, sometimes you're looking pretty dead turn 4, so you need to sweep for turn 3 with a Brotherhood's End, and then you can try and start developing the board. Or you like exhaust a lot of your single target removal. This helps us draw cards, and again we can crew it and then swing in with it. You know, the standard Bank Buster things. We're playing 3 Fable of Mirror Breakers here, as I'm trying to remember what I did, because I think I originally had 4 here. I think I removed one of these to go in for a Destroy Evil. But yeah, these cards are one of the best cards in Standard, right? So it creates the Goblin that can attack in. Ramp can help us filter our cards, get our Vindicator into the graveyard, because if we don't have 4 white sources, what we can actually do is discard it and then reanimate with a Cruelty of Gix or the Black Sun's Twilight. So that's why we have some of these discard cards, besides them being also like this one dueling as a sweeper type thing. But yeah. And then lastly, the backside of the Fable of Kiki-Jiki, or Fable of the Mirror Breaker, Kiki-Jiki, can allow us to copy our Vindicator and then cast one of our board wipes. which can allow us to double the damage that we're sending to our opponent's base, which is really awesome. I do really enjoy that as a potential way to do tons of damage with the Vindicator's ability. So this deck is largely built off of doing damage with Vindicator's ability, besides just like swinging in with the Vindicator. Brotherhood's End, 3 damage to each creature and Planeswalker. It's nice that it hits Planeswalkers for those more controlling matchups without creatures, and then it can also destroy artifacts if we really need to. Don't think I've used that much, but it does stand a point that if you come up against an Urabrask Forge, besides a Braid, we also have Brotherhood's End. Urabrask Forge can be a bit of a nightmare if you let it sit around on the battlefield too long, because it keeps creating these bigger and bigger, hasty, trampley creatures. Corpse Explosion. If you also want to make this deck better, you can go ahead and get rid of the meme play of Corpse Explosion with Rust Goliath. But I thought it was fun to potentially get it off, so that's why we're playing in here. But you can definitely go down one of these, play like another Destroy Evil or another Braid or another Go for the Throat, like I was talking about, or just get rid of it, get another Fable in here. Seems like a good idea. We got Vindicator here. We're playing 4 copies of Vindicator because, well, it's the deck, right? It's the idea of the deck, so we want as many of them as possible. It's not legendary, which is awesome. And then if it takes damage, prevent that damage, or if damage would be dealt to it, prevent that damage. When damage is prevented this way, Phyrexian Vindicator deals that much damage to any other target. And then Solphim says, for 2 generic, 2 red, it's a 5/4. Kind of annoying that's 4 toughness, like, kind of weird. But if a source you control would deal non-combat damage to an opponent or a permanent opponent controls, it deals double that damage to player or permanent instead. This works really well with the Elder Dragon War, these like Brotherhood's End, these Burn Down the Houses, right? It also doubles up the damage that Vindicator sends out. We saw it there in that match that we lost to the Obliterator. When the opponent swung in with the Archfiend of the Dross, it did 6 damage to the Vindicator, and then we sent 12 damage to their face because it got doubled up by the Solphim. So that is the real spicy tech that we're going for, as well as it just being so good with like the Elder Dragon War. So it does 2 damage to our creatures, and then 4 damage to the opponent's creatures. So we get like this puny sweeper on our side, and then they get like an enhanced Brotherhood's End on their side, which is awesome. It also means Solphim survives like these two, while we also like wipe out the majority of the opponent's board. So that's a really awesome way to turn these sweepers into like one-sided sweepers. Now, in our 5-drop slot, we have Cruelty of Gix. This is 5-mana enchantment, 2 black, 3 generic. Opponent reveals their hand. You can choose a creature or planeswalker card from it. They discard that card. We can also read ahead to later chapters, which are kind of nice because the 3rd chapter might be the most relevant one, besides the 2nd one also being pretty good. The problem with the 2nd one is it makes us lose 3 life, but we get to tutor up whatever card we need from our library at that moment. Whether it's another white source to cast the Vindicator in our hand, a Burn Down the House to bounce damage off of Vindicator or just deal with all their big planeswalkers, or if it's like, I don't know, you're so close to getting off the Corpse Explosion combo and you want to tutor up the right spell, I guess. And then lastly, the 3rd one, we get to return those Vindicators that our opponent is probably getting rid of, or if we have like discarded a Vindicator and plan to reanimate it because we don't have enough white sources because, well, this land base is kind of sus. Yeah, that's the idea of Cruelty of Gix in here. Also, if our opponent's running around with an Atraxa Reanimator deck, don't mind if I do. I will go ahead and take your Atraxa. Thank you. And then we have Burn Down the House here. 5 damage to each creature or planeswalker, or we can create the 3 1/1 red devil creature tokens. When this creature dies, it deals 1 damage to any target. This is nice because, well, the flexibility is nice, and then it just does so much damage to each creature and planeswalker. It's really good at getting rid of planeswalkers as well as creatures, and it's the most amount of damage we can, or some of the most amount of damage that we can bounce off the Vindicator, which is nice. And then lastly, the Rust Goliath. This is probably what's also tinkering our curve up here so much. Hold on, if I get rid of the Rust Goliath, yeah, that drops it down quite a bit. But yeah, Rust Goliath here, just here to exist as a big body to potentially exile from our graveyard with Corpse Explosion and do 10 damage to everything. And then we double it off of the Vindicator with the Solphim, and we send 20 damage to our opponent's face. That's the dream. But didn't necessarily like play a whole ton of it in this deck because just wanted it to be generically playable and not having these kind of crappy cards in hand. Also, I only have 2 Corpse Explosions, so if I wanted to do that, I would have to craft more Corpse Explosions. They're also going to be rotating later this year, so. Then lastly, the land base. You can see that we have white source, our dual black and red source, white source, white source, white source, white source, and then we have these 2 basics. Honestly, just cut these basics, take up the number of Windscarred Crag, Scarab Barrens, or whatever, or if you have more of these rare lands, go ahead and play more of them, because, yeah, not being able to cast your Vindicators is not a good look. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this deck. If you did, make sure to leave a like. Let me know what you guys thought about it in the comments down below. And consider subscribing if you enjoy Magic videos, or Magic Arena videos, because I try to make videos daily, and still have a few more ideas for the set, I think. So, catch you guys next time. Have a nice morning, evening, night, afternoon, wherever you're watching. Ciao.